Hello.
Hiya Chris, this is HTFC Hub.
Hi, how are you?
Hiya, we're doing not too bad. So let's kick things off. For those listening to this interview, could you please explain what it is you do at Huddersfield Town Football Club?
It's quite an array of things really. The title suggests performance analyst is involved in obviously analysing match performances. That's obviously a lot to do with the DVD work, which I'm sure a lot of people will be familiar with Prozone, the company who will provide the analysis for us. And so that takes up quite a large amount of time obviously, but a lot of the work is also pre-match, so by that I mean obviously things like scouting. I'll watch, I think I've watched 2 games per opposition that we've played now for a couple of seasons, so I've seen my fair share of League One football over the past few seasons. So it involves obviously pre-match things, scouting, as I said, a lot of motivational tools, for individual players, putting together like highlights, reels, things that you see on Sky and things. So trying to do them for some of the players, and also as sort of sometimes sort of put like a pretty much motivational DVD together for the team, if it's a particularly big game or things like that. Obviously that's the video side of it, and there is also the statistical side of it as well. Number of passes, all the things that you're beginning to see a bit more and more on the telly really. So it's working quite closely with the coaching staff, so it's a very interesting job.
Yeah, I mean it sounds interesting, mate. Sounds like you're busy. Pre-season must be extremely busy for yourself. So I mean, let's go back to the end of last season and the incredible scenes at Wembley, which we all witnessed. 120 minutes of play and 22 penalties later, we finally got promotion. How did that feel to be part of the staff that actually achieved this?
I mean, absolutely incredible. I mean, obviously everyone's seen it, and to be in the stands must have been unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
it was just an absolute dream come true. Not just because of the work that you put in, but I've been a season ticket holder before I managed to get this job. I've been a season ticket holder since I was 3 years old, so I think I clocked up something like 70 odd grounds watching Huddersfield. So to then go so close the previous 2 seasons, this is my 4th season on the club, so in the 3 seasons I've been there, we've got to the playoffs, obviously Millwall, and the playoffs the year after, then the unbeaten road, and then to top it off like that, I mean, years couldn't have written it any better than that. I mean, they say to go up in the playoffs is the best way you can guarantee, but to go up in the playoffs through a penalty shootout, I don't think you could have planned it any better unless you thought you were going to have an heart attack.
No, I mean, you couldn't at all, mate. It was as if it was destiny, really. You must have thought we'd blown it there when we missed them first 3 penalties. What does promotion into the Championship bring to the club, and how does it affect your personal career as a performance analyst?
I think obviously going into the Championship affects the club in a lot of ways. I think it will financially affect the club. The average attendance is going to go up by at least 2,000, 3,000 people a week, because that's what the away fans are bringing. It's going to be slightly different this season. You've got people like Wolves and Birmingham, just to mention a couple, who are going to fill the away end out. And sometimes when you're playing Yeovil on a Tuesday night, they bring up a couple of hundred. So I think that's going to make the old ground a bit more of a formidable place for us. The atmospheres are going to be good. So there's numerous ways it's going to affect the club and the town. But for me personally, obviously, it's pretty similar. It's obviously a great benefit. You're now sort of testing yourself against better opposition and trying to think of new ways to sort of get that advantage. And it's just an exciting time for everyone. And I'm no different really. I'm as ambitious, and although I'm a big fan, everyone's ambitious. In my opinion, you should want to try and be the best that you can be and try and improve. So obviously getting in the Championship is going to enable me and the club to do that.
Yeah, I mean, looking in from a supporter's side of things, this Huddersfield squad that we've actually got now seems to be so close-knit to one another and get on so well. I mean, you go on Twitter and everyone's having a bit of banter. You got yourself, Jack Hunt, you've got Clayton now and Norwood. I mean, is that the case? Is the squad actually all together now?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I've come in from the outside, so to speak, like I said 3 seasons ago, the atmosphere in the dressing room has been fantastic. I mean, just to sort of mention, just to give you an idea about how good it is and how rare it is, people sort of, you hear all this stuff from the outside, you think, it's the same at every club and all get along. But there's two people I've been fortunate enough to work with, one of them being Terry McDermott, who obviously is now no longer with us, but he said that it was the best atmosphere and best group of players he's ever worked with. So, I mean, the things that Terry's achieved in the game is pretty high praise. And then also, the other day when I was speaking in Scotland, I was speaking to Liam Miller, one of the new members of the coaching staff, and equally experienced in the game. And he again said the same thing. This is the best group of lads. It's the best atmosphere to be around. So to have that and that be a place of work every day, it certainly makes things a lot easier when you're going away for weeks at a time and you're travelling back, and it's just fantastic.
I mean, the sacking of Lee Clark came about January time, just after the transfer window. Now Grayson started to put his own mark on the squad with end of season transfers. Arrivals of Sean Scannell, Paul Dixon, Oliver Norwood, Clayton, Joel Lynch and Keith Southern have all occurred in this transfer window alone. What do you think personally of these players, and how are they getting on with the club?
I mean, you only have to look at the pedigree. Every single one of them got championship experience, so they're obviously very good players. The bits that I've seen of them in training, they all look very good acquisitions. Certainly in the pre-season friendly, the hips, first 20 minutes, half an hour, as well as I've seen us play, really. I know it's just a friendly, but the sort of, the sort of pedigree that's being brought in is championship pedigree, and it certainly looks as though they're gelling in. They're all good lads, and they're fitted in straight away, really. So I think it's been a productive summer, and it's just sort of building on the momentum that we've been picking up. Like I say, it seems like since I've joined the club, we've always been up there and thereabouts, which always means we've always had good players. So it's going up the league, and you maybe start to see some more coming into it. It's exciting times.
It sure is, mate. It sure is. I mean, ultimately a few players didn't agree or receive new contracts from the club and Simon Grayson after promotion. Miller, Johnson, Cadamartre and Roberts are just a few of those. Is it hard to see players move on that you have worked with over the years? And do you still keep in touch with any of them at all?
I think that, to be honest, that's one of the hardest parts of the job. Players and staff as well. It's not just the players, it's well documented. Managers change, staff change, and you're working with these people on a day-to-day basis. And it's hard. I got along well with everyone at the club. So when they leave it, I'd say that's the hardest part of the job. But unfortunately, you've almost to sort of get used to it because it's part of the industry. You hear what people saying that's football, and they say it all the time, and that's because it's true. I keep in touch with a lot of them, actually, even back from the start. I still keep in touch with people like Michael Collins, from the playing side, regular, obviously the one that's most recently moved on. You get Roberts, John T, Tommy Miller. Try and keep in touch with all of them, because you know that you don't work with them, they're friends, and it's the same with the staff. Staff move on for different reasons, and I try and keep in touch with everyone. It's one of the unfortunate things about football, but you get to meet a lot of good people. So I think it's quite a fortunate position to be in.
I mean, now promotion from League One obviously into the Championship with that extraordinary win at Wembley. So I mean, the Championship is often spoken of as the toughest second tier of football in the world. What are your thoughts on the other teams that we shall come up against this season, and is there anyone you personally think we need to look out for?
I mean, the Championship, over the summer, you're thinking it's nice to have a bit of a break, but really this season it was, can't wait to get back to it, and every time I was wanting to get back to it, I just look at the fixtures, and you just get excited about them every time I look at them. I think it is arguably the most competitive league in the world in terms of, teams, anyone can go up and virtually anyone can go down. You can get that in the Premier League. There's always, there's almost 3 leagues within that. So I think it's definitely the most competitive, and like you say, there's just too many teams to say they could be good. There's obviously going to be the teams that came down with the parachute payments, etc. Then teams have got in the playoffs last year, your Birmingham's, Blackpool's, and then you've got the teams who maybe thought they were underachieving last year with a bit of financial backing, your Leicesters, your Notts Forest. There's some strong teams about, and that's why it's just such a an honour almost to be in this league, but we feel that we've certainly got a squad that's certainly going to have to compete. So, you know, I don't think I can pick someone just out of a hat like that, because I think it is that competitive. That's the beauty of it. You don't know who's going to be your rivals, but, you know, time will tell.
Of course, all Huddersfield Town fans also want to know where you personally think we shall finish. We know it's all going to be close. There's a lot of Yorkshire teams and a lot of Yorkshire derbies to look forward for. But where do you think we'll finish in the Championship after waiting 11 years to actually get up there?
It's difficult again to say where we're going to finish. I think with the acquisitions we've made, with the momentum we've been building up over the past few years, I certainly think we're going to be looking to finish in the top half of the table. You know, I'm not one of these advisors the idea that, you know, the aim is to stay up. That's certainly not what we've been saying or what the manager's been saying. You know, we'll try and win as many games as we can, but I think there's every reason to be optimistic, you know. If we had a couple more, but even if we don't, if we're going to the season with the squad that we've got now, I think there's every reason to be optimistic. Like I said, anyone can beat anyone. And I'm speaking to Ian Miller and Glenn Snodin and the manager. You know, their experience of the league is if you stay in that pack, sort of in the middle, 2 or 3 wins. You know, the games come second fast in the Championship. You play 3 games a week sometimes. 2 or 3 wins, and then you're right back up in the playoffs again. You know, so. Just a case of building momentum and trying to keep it as long as we possibly can, really.
And to keep with tradition of Huddersfield Town, you must get annoyed to hear this all the time. We must at least mention Jordan Rhodes. He banged 4 in for his last season. He finished England's top goal scorer. But what is it like to have a player of that calibre in your squad?
I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. I'm not fed up by it at all. I think it's fantastic for the club, but almost more importantly, it's fantastic for him, because when you hear people say how nice a lad he is, you can't express to people how nice he is until they actually meet him for themselves. He's absolutely model professional, absolutely brilliant player, and in my opinion, I think he could go on and play in any league. I've said that for quite a while. People think, well, he's only scored goals in League One, but the type of striker he is, a lot of his goals are one-touch finishes, and if people put balls in the box and put chances for him, he's cool as a cucumber. To me, I think, you know, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. You know, I think eventually he'll play at the highest level. Just hope that could be with us.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think the same. The likes of Celtic have come in for him now, but I think a season with us again, see where he is at the Championship. I mean, he's an extraordinary player, and I think this year he's going to do it. What do you think? Hello?
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 Sorry, yes, I can hear you again now. It just broke up a second there.
Not a problem, mate. I was just saying about Jordan Rhodes, it's incredible to have a player like that in your squad. I mean, Celtic have now apparently shown a bit of interest, but do you think it's wise for him to stay at Huddersfield Town for at least another year? Get the Championship experience and see how he performs?
Obviously, I'd love that, because I think he's a great lad, but a magnificent player. I can't answer that question for anyone, you know. I'd like to see him here as every other person connected with the club would, but at the end of the day, nobody knows. You know, it's up to the powers that be and Jordan himself. He's never come out and said he wants to leave. That's not in his nature, and he's a very level-headed lad, so whatever he'll be as far as I'm concerned, and he's concerned. He's looking forward to starting the season with us, but until that day comes around, you never know.
One last question, Chris. Who has the best and worst banter in the club?
It's a tricky one, this one. There's some good banter going about. Adam Clay used to fancy himself as a bit of a banter king, new guy in the dressing room, then you've got your diehards like Tom Clark, who's always good for a laugh. But like I said before, the lads, it's a good place to be around. The dressing room's lively and it gets a bit fierce at times. So for worst banter, I think I'm going to abstain from that question, because if I get on someone with the worst banter, I'm only going to get it back twice as bad.
I guess so. So I think I've interrogated you enough now, Chris. Thank you very much for allowing us the time to interview yourself, and all the best for the future, both with Huddersfield Town and wherever else you may find yourself in the years to come. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. See you later, Matt.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.